I think at our last meeting, Mr. Steiner was clairvoyant but didn't know, and we didn't recognize it. If you recall, he offered an amendment that we would look at this medical marijuana issue, actually at this meeting. And after we had some discussion, motion was made to move it to March. Well, in the interim from the last meeting, we've had 2 or 3 important issues that arose. One of them is that the Attorney General revoked an Obama resolution that says the Assistant Attorney Generals in the various regions need not put marijuana issues at the top of the list. Jeff Sessions has revoked that. And so we're kind of in a limbo now because we all know at the federal level, marijuana, whether it's medical or otherwise, is illegal. I had noticed in a couple newspapers, and I get the Detroit Free Press, and they're on this relatively closely, that some Michigan agencies have been using some of their extra money to actually go after marijuana enforcement. We know that Detroit has 62 dispensaries. We know that there are 218,000 more or less medical marijuana card holders, 36,000 registered caregivers. We know from conversations and some stuff in the newspapers that 12 cities, 19 townships, and 5 cities have opted in. But on a total of cities, villages, and townships in this state, which there are 1,750 of them, more or less, only 50 of those agencies or government agencies have stepped up. I have a whole notebook full of information. With your permission, Mr. Supervisor, I move that we revoke the last motion to put this medical marijuana on the first meeting of March, and that we substitute it for the next meeting, the first one in February. I believe that we can do all the research we need to do in that time frame. I have a whole book I'm going to give to the clerk, and if anybody wants to look at that, they can do so. It has all the statutes and a lot of the regulations from both the licensing and regulations agency at the state, as well as newspaper accounts. And I believe after some reflection that we probably would be prepared to make a decision one way or the other. I also spent some time talking to council that if we went down the road and permitted this, we know that there is a petition out with almost sufficient signatures to put recreational marijuana as a permitted use. We don't know if the Attorney General is going to come after these things. We don't know if the local Attorney General is going to come after it. We know that recreational marijuana is coming up, perhaps. If someone starts the business, you can't take it away. You're going to have a government taking. So I think that all of that is grist for the mill. And as I said, my motion is to revoke the prior motion, which would place the issue on the first meeting in March and substitute the first meeting in February.
May I make a point of order? The only way that you can bring up a motion that's already been approved on the floor is by the person voting on the opposing side of that motion.
That's
the only
not
way
true.
you can rescind a motion is by the person who made the motion.
I made the motion.
I thought you said Rick made it.
I made the motion, and it's the person who is
Okay.
on the affirmative side of the motion.
Then
who
you
bring
can
it.
rescind it. You can
I
rescind
said
it.
I'll rescind it. I've revoked it or rescinded it.
It's two different things.
Revoking is the same process. Anyhow, that's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do you have support?
Second.
Motion, support, discussion? Seeing none, could you call the roll?
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Francis?
Aye.
Ms. Tinneberry?
No,
Mr. Clemens?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, and the motion passed 6-1.